Hey, you. Yeah, you. You sitting there. Do you want to win a $25 cash card by answering some questions about Good Health TV? Who doesn't? The first 100 people to take the survey will be winners. Visit bit.ly/GHTV survey right now. Yes, now.
I decided to quit because my son, Nicholas, wrote me a letter when he was about 11 years old. He wrote me a letter and left it on the kitchen table for me to read. And once I saw that, I felt really badly because I knew it was affecting him, and he knew that smoking was bad for you. So he wrote it when he was 11. It says, "Dear Mom, smoking. Thank you, Mom, for quitting smoking. I know you can do it. It is a hard thing to do, but smoking kills you. So you are saving your life. I'm lucky to have parents like you and Daddy, because maybe other parents would probably say, oh, he's just a kid. But you are the best mom in the world. Don't smoke." And then he drew a little something, which was cute. It's me smoking, and then that's like before and after, and that's a dead me. That's him crying because he was afraid that I was going to die. And I made copies of it, and I keep it everywhere. Obviously I keep this one in my wallet, and I keep some at my desk, and I have them at home on my refrigerator, so it's like everywhere. My son is really proud that I quit smoking. He thinks it's the best thing I've ever done, and he thanked me for it. I think I'm being a good role model now.
Do cloth face coverings like bandanas and homemade masks help reduce the spread of COVID-19? In short, yes. Now, they may not protect the wearer, but they may keep the wearer from spreading the virus to others. This is important because you can have the virus for weeks and spread it to others without showing any symptoms. The CDC recommends all people 2 years or older wear a cloth face covering if able, in public settings and when around people who don't live in your household. Cloth face coverings are recommended as a simple barrier to help prevent respiratory droplets from traveling into the air and onto other people. So, what are respiratory droplets? They're basically that misty stuff that comes out of your mouth and nose when you talk, cough, sneeze, or sing. These droplets can be pretty hard to see. We've got some spray bottles filled with colored water to help us demonstrate. Thanks. And here with me as well is this mannequin face thing. Let's call it Quinn. You don't mind getting sprayed with respiratory droplets, do you, Quinn? Okay, so let's say this red bottle is someone infected with COVID-19, but doesn't know it. They're at the grocery store buying pepper and they sneeze, while our mannequin is in the same aisle looking for paprika. Achoo! Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Did I get you? Now, let's use the blue bottle with the cloth covering in between to see if it helps, okay? Here comes a crazy little kid with no manners. Wow, mister, I didn't see you there because I'm running around like a crazy person on too much sugar. Why do you look like that? So, there you have it. Using a cloth face covering does a fine job at creating a simple barrier between us and our neighbor. Of course, this isn't exactly a scientific study, but you get the idea. Quinn, do you get the idea? The more people that wear cloth face coverings in public, the better we protect one another from this pandemic. For more information, go to cdc.gov/coronavirus.
Hey guys, I'm Mason, and guess what happened today? I went with my grandma to the clinic. I thought it was going to be boring, but it was awesome. Her doctor was super nice, and she let me follow her around while my grandma was with the healer. I saw her take care of someone's foot, teach somebody about diabetes, and even give a baby a shot without even making it cry. She knew so much stuff and made everyone feel better. She told me she wanted to be a doctor since she was my age. So she started taking a bunch of math and science classes, and they really helped. She even grew up on my res, just a few blocks away from my house. I guess she went away for college, but came back so she could help our tribe. And that's pretty cool. I love my family and friends, and if I could help them stay healthy someday, just like she does, that sounds pretty good to me. Well, gotta get back to it. Gotta focus. Future doctor over here. See ya.
Are you an Indigenous filmmaker? We've been looking for you. Who are we? We're Good Health TV, an educational health and wellness network made especially for Native American people. We aim to create entertaining and engaging, culturally reflective videos designed to empower our viewers with the knowledge needed to improve their health and the wellness of their communities. If you're interested in learning more or have a project in mind, all you have to do is send an email to content@goodhealthtv.com. Again, that's content@goodhealthtv.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Are you done using your prescription pain medication? Dispose of it correctly. Prescription pain medication is easily misused and abused, and the cause of many overdoses and deaths. That's why it's important to get rid of it when you're no longer using it. Medication is often made up of some pretty strong chemicals, and recent reports show that flushing it can be dangerous to the environment. The best way to get rid of prescription medication is by taking it to a drug take-back location. Drug take-back locations are authorized places that accept people's prescription medication to dispose of it the right way. Ask your pharmacy if they're an authorized take-back location, or visit takebackday.dea.gov to find one near you.
Let's talk about HIV prevention. Those of us at high risk for getting HIV through unprotected sex or injecting drugs need to know about PrEP. PrEP is a safe and highly effective medication that can help prevent HIV. When taken consistently, PrEP can reduce a person's risk of getting HIV through sex by 99% and by more than 70% for people who use injection drugs. If you're at risk for HIV, it's time to make prevention a priority. Talk to your healthcare provider to learn whether PrEP is right for you.
Do cloth face coverings like bandanas and homemade masks help reduce the spread of COVID-19? In short, yes. Now, they may not protect the wearer, but they may keep the wearer from spreading the virus to others. This is important because you can have the virus for weeks and spread it to others without showing any symptoms. The CDC recommends all people 2 years or older wear a cloth face covering if able, in public settings and when around people who don't live in your household. Cloth face coverings are recommended as a simple barrier to help prevent respiratory droplets from traveling into the air and onto other people. So, what are respiratory droplets? They're basically that misty stuff that comes out of your mouth and nose when you talk, cough, sneeze, or sing. These droplets can be pretty hard to see. We've got some spray bottles filled with colored water to help us demonstrate. Thanks. And here with me as well is this mannequin face thing. Let's call it Quinn. You don't mind getting sprayed with respiratory droplets, do you, Quinn? Okay, so let's say this red bottle is someone infected with COVID-19, but doesn't know it. They're at the grocery store buying pepper and they sneeze, while our mannequin is in the same aisle looking for paprika. Achoo! Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Did I get you? Now, let's use the blue bottle with the cloth covering in between to see if it helps, okay? Here comes a crazy little kid with no manners. Wow, mister, I didn't see you there because I'm running around like a crazy person on too much sugar. Why do you look like that? So, there you have it. Using a cloth face covering does a fine job at creating a simple barrier between us and our neighbor. Of course, this isn't exactly a scientific study, but you get the idea. Quinn, do you get the idea? The more people that wear cloth face coverings in public, the better we protect one another from this pandemic. For more information, go to cdc.gov/coronavirus.
Tips to be productive during quarantine. So you can maintain your sanity and not be a couch potato that only binge watches TV and constantly sleeps. Now that you may have a ton of time by yourself, like all the time, so much time you may be bored because you're an outdoor cat that's forced to stay inside. And like a cat, unstructured time can make one day blur into the rest. But you're not a cat, you're a human person, so why not be a productive human person? Here's a few tips that can help you during social distancing, so you can be less like a cat and more like a human person. Exercise every day. If you're anything like your humble narrator, this just sounds like the worst, but it really is good for you. And guess what? If you do it enough, you'll feel better. Things don't creak and crack. Grabbing things from tall shelves isn't a chore, and that roundness in the midsection starts to go away. Seriously, if you could see me now in this audio booth, you'd be impressed. Aprender un nuevo idioma. Apprendre une nouvelle langue. Imparare una nuova lingua. Learn a new language. Speaking is best. Make talk great. Impress them, their families, and friend. Plus, watch films that foreign. No subtitle. Read some books. I mean, you finally got the time. You were always saying, I would totally read The Grapes of Wrath if I only had the time. Well, guess what? Now's the time. It's a long one, but totally worth it. I read that one in high school, so I'm going to read a different book. Besides, stories about giant whales really aren't my thing. Spring cleaning. Did you know it's spring? Seriously, it is. You may not know it, but officially it is. So clean up your place. Organize everything. It's much easier to deal with being stuck inside if you're not staring at a mess. Plus, you can see what color your carpet is. Mine is orange shag, and it's gorgeous. It may take a while, but we will be able to go back out into the world again. You might as well learn a few new things and be a better, more productive person when we come out the other side. These are just a few tips to be productive during quarantine, so you can maintain your sanity and not be a couch potato that only binge watches TV and constantly sleeps. Bye.
Opiate addiction is not a moral problem or lack of will. It is a disease. We need to protect our people and our tribal communities from this disease. Protection starts with prevention. Culture is prevention. Strong families and communities are prevention. And education is prevention. Heroin, morphine, and other prescribed pain medications such as Vicodin, Percocet, and oxycodone are considered opiates and have been used for pain relief for a long time. People who are prescribed opiates can develop tolerance to them, resulting in the need for increased doses to get the same pain relief. This can lead to misuse and abuse, resulting in a higher risk of opiate dependence and overdose. This dependence happens when a person tries to stop using opiates but has withdrawal symptoms. These symptoms feel like the worst flu imaginable: nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, shaking, muscle pain, chills, fever, and agitation. Often these symptoms are what cause continued use of opiates or heroin, no matter the cost. As prescription opiates become more difficult to obtain, people turn to drugs that are cheaper and easier to get and easier to become addicted to, such as heroin. The Indian Health Service works to promote safe and effective therapies to help patients and providers optimally manage pain and stop the inappropriate use of pain medications. There is a medication called naloxone that can reverse an overdose. We are working to increase access and awareness of naloxone and educate people on how to use this life-saving medication. Our people are strong. We can come together to prevent and treat this epidemic and heal our communities.
My name is Winston Marshall from Standing Rock, North Dakota. Well, it all started, of course, back in high school. We just are friends and just started doing like marijuana and drinking a lot more and drinking a lot more. And finally in high school, being a full-blood alcoholic, I started using meth. I was using a needle. I was using whatever you could stick in the needle. I was doing stuff that, I regretted doing, like stealing from family, stealing from people. I really believe that if I kept on going on how I was, I would have been dead, locked up in prison, or something would have happened pretty bad that I would have regretted. Ever since I gave up alcohol and drugs, my life has been awesome. My mom was always there, my church family was always there, and my whole family was always there for me, I don't smoke no more, I don't drink no more. And praise God, I don't use meth no more, so that's a big thing. My health is getting better how it is. I can actually run almost 2 miles now. A lot of stuff goes through my head. Sometimes my past goes through my head, sometimes how actually ignorant I was whenever I was doing it, but a lot of my family, my children basically. Just being outside, and just looking at God's creation, what he did, how he created it, and just, just breathing in that fresh air and just actually just getting to, look at, nature itself, birds flying around or whatever else, I've seen things that I haven't seen before. My eyes are open, and I just think a lot about what he's doing in my life, Jesus Christ, Just get into some positive activities like basketball, running, weightlifting, whatever you like to do, I really encourage, to young people to get into that right now, Sometimes I ever thought I'd never come out of my addiction, but which I did. But it was only through Jesus Christ that it happened, other than that, in my own strength, it wouldn't happen, but the scar's definitely been healed, and my mind's definitely being renewed big time every day.
Overcoming addiction takes courage and support. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please contact your local tribal health office or call the National SAMHSA hotline at 1-800-662-HELP.
Each of our tribal nations are blessed with our own unique forms of beauty.
We unfortunately have one thing in common.
Opioid abuse is killing our people.
If you have a family member who's struggling with an opioid addiction, reach out to them.
Remind them of how valuable they are, how much they are loved, and that they are never alone.
Remind them that the guidance of our ancestors is always available through prayer and ceremony.
Most importantly, remind them that there is no shame in getting professional help.
Healing is beautiful and possible. It's easier when we're not alone.
Hey, you want to go for a cruise?
Nah, I probably shouldn't. I'm feeling pretty buzzed right now.
Aw, come on. It'll be fun. Let's go.
Every 73 seconds in America, a person experiences sexual assault. It often starts with something like what we just saw. Maybe you've seen someone in a situation like this, whether a friend or a stranger. You might think to yourself, I don't like the looks of this, or she really shouldn't go with him. You want to step in and say something, but maybe you don't know what to say, or feel like it isn't your place, or you don't want your friend to get mad, or you think maybe someone else will step in. It's okay to have these thoughts, but it's important to realize your actions can help. They matter. There are ways to help protect those who may be in danger of sexual assault. There are ways to show you care. You can create a distraction. Allow me to demonstrate.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Hey, let's go get some pizza. I'm starving.
Okay.
See ya. That's just one of the many ways to create a distraction. Just be sure to pick a distraction you're comfortable with. You can also ask directly like this.
Hey, I got a bottle back at my place. Let's go party over there.
Hey, oh my gosh, I love your hair.
Thank you.
So, did you come with someone or?
Yeah, my girlfriends, but I don't know where they are.
I mean, I can help you go look for her.
Yeah, I
Okay.
like that.
All right. Sometimes the safest way to intervene is to refer to an authority. That might be a security guard, bartender, or party host. Hey, excuse me. I think that girl over there, she might be in trouble. This guy, he keeps asking her to leave with him, and I don't know. Will you check it out?
Yeah, thanks for letting me know. I'll take care of it right away.
Okay. It can be intimidating to approach a situation alone. If that's the case, enlist another person to support you. Hey, your friend looks like they've had too much to drink. I don't know, it just doesn't look too good. Do you want to check on them?
Of course.
All right, thanks.
If you're concerned about someone's safety, don't hesitate to call 911.
Whether or not you were able to change the outcome by stepping in, you're helping to change the way people think about their role in preventing sexual assault.
Your actions matter. If you suspect that someone you know has been sexually assaulted, There are steps you can take to support that person and show you care.
Learn more at rain.org.
One, two.
What is this?
Hey, we need to call.
Our culture is our prevention. Make the right choice.
My husband has heart disease, COPD, and lung cancer from smoking. Today, he's being tested to see if the lung cancer has spread. He may be the one getting the test, but we both live with the results.
The people you love are worth quitting for. You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Well, MMIW stands for Murdered Missing Indigenous Women. It's an epidemic. There are thousands of Native women within the United States and Canada that go missing every year. And they're sex trafficked, they're murdered, and it starts at a really young age too. I believe 1 out of every 3 Native women experience violence of some type in their lifetime. It matters to me to bring awareness because I'm an Indigenous woman. I have an Indigenous mother, I have an Indigenous sister, I have Indigenous nieces, aunts, cousins, my entire family. And it weighs really heavy on your heart to think about that, and if anything would happen to any of them. My name is Holly Dahl. My Lakota name is Ompawin, which means First Light Woman. I'm enrolled in Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, but I was born and raised in the Bismarck-Mandan area of North Dakota. Well, my life up until this point has consisted of not knowing who I was as a Native, finding that person through my job, working with Native artists, and becoming more comfortable in my own skin and wanting to reclaim my lost identity and the area around me. Art Art is a form of activism, even though I don't really care for that word. Art brings awareness. Art is very healing for people, survivors particular too, I believe. People pay attention to art, I think, more, and it makes a statement without having to have people speak, because it's a really heavy topic for people to speak on, and they can just make something and be vulnerable and show it to people and have people come to their own conclusions. And sometimes it's really graphic, but it gets the point across. And sometimes it's really gentle and heartbreaking, which is equally as impactful. So the piece that I created, it's more of a gentle piece, I suppose, more of an emotional one rather than something super, super graphic. The red dress is, of course, on there, and I was aiming for some type of just non-space background, so it shows itself as water, which I think is very important to Indigenous people too. Water is also healing. It shows up in your body. You're made up of water. You cry, and within the water there's eyes, and they're crying, and that can represent a person who has gone missing, family members, the community. It could be the creator watching what's happening to us. It's really open-ended, and I have no face so that people can put any face to them if they want. And then I have roses along the border, which are dark roses, and those symbolize grief. I think that MMIW should be taught to Indigenous women at a very young age, unfortunately. It's very unfortunate that has to be brought about, but just for a matter of safety. Also, mental health, I think, is really important with that. Understanding your own, understanding your families, especially if you know someone or have someone in your family that had that happen to them. If there's community action taking place, which there always is, elected officials need to be more aware of that, and they should be able to funnel money into that to fund those so that people don't end up with inaction happening. They have something that supports them. It shows support from all sides, and I think that the community should keep fighting together. Traditionally, that's what we've always done. We've always watched out for each other's back for hundreds of years, and we always took care of each other. And when we rely too much on power figures to do that for us, we end up losing that connection.
Water is essential to all life on Earth. From the smallest bacteria to the largest creatures on the planet, all living things need water to survive. Most people don't feel thirsty until they are already dehydrated. As it happens, that's even more true in hot, humid, or extreme conditions. Water helps regulate your body's temperature, but in high heat weather, your body needs even more water than normal. If your body doesn't replace the fluids you lose, it's not able to function the way it's supposed to, and this is when dehydration happens. Dehydration can happen to anyone, especially in hot weather. You can normally reverse dehydration by drinking more water, but in severe cases, you could need medical treatment. Signs and symptoms of dehydration are different depending on how old you are. For infants and children, it may include dry mouth and tongue, no tears when crying, no wet diapers for 3 hours, sunken eyes or cheeks, and sluggishness. For adults, it may include extreme thirst, less frequent urination, dark-colored urine, fatigue, dizziness, and confusion. Dehydration can lead to many serious health problems. That's why it's so important to make sure you drink enough water throughout the day. Start your day off with a glass of water. A great reminder to drink more water is to simply take a reusable water bottle with you wherever you go. Also, when it's hot or humid out, you sweat more and lose more fluid, so remind yourself to keep drinking water all day. Water is an essential part of life. It flows through all living things, bringing vibrance and beauty to the earth. Do the same for your mind and body each and every day. Drink more water.
The COVID-19 vaccine is currently being distributed across the United States. While early distribution is focused on healthcare personnel such as hospital workers, long-term care staff, and emergency responders, the COVID-19 vaccine may also be available to others depending on your area. Here are a few things to consider in regards to the COVID-19 vaccine. First, 2 doses of the vaccine are needed. Depending on the specific vaccine you get, you will need to get a second shot 3 to 4 weeks after your first shot. Second, the COVID-19 vaccine will not make you sick with COVID-19. None of the COVID-19 vaccines contain the live virus that causes COVID-19. Rather, the vaccine focuses on teaching your immune system to recognize the virus to help your body build antibodies against it. Building antibodies can take several weeks, so it's important to continue taking precautions against getting sick after receiving the vaccine, such as washing your hands with soap and water, maintaining a distance of at least 6 feet from others, and wearing a mask. Third, COVID-19 vaccines may cause side effects in some people, such as feeling tired, sore muscles, and mild fever. These reactions mean the vaccine is working and do not mean you have COVID-19. And finally, 4. The COVID-19 vaccine is considered safe and is recommended for everyone, even if you've already had COVID-19. Talk to your healthcare provider to learn more.
There are many misconceptions about medications that treat opioid addiction. One myth is that taking medications like methadone and buprenorphine is just trading one addiction for another.
People that are on Suboxone are able to live like functioning normal lives. Like I know so many people that used to use heroin and now they're on Sublocade or Suboxone, and they used to not be able to have a full-time job, have their kids, and live a normal life. And today, they have full-time jobs, they have their children back, they run NA meetings, and they are productive members of society.
It's fixed my problem, and it doesn't have cravings.
The Suboxone is not getting you sick and wanting more of the heroin, you know. Suboxone is there to help you not want to crave for the heroin.
Methadone has changed my life a lot. It helps me not be sick. And when you're not sick, you want to go and obviously go to work and take care of your kids or whatever. I've heard people talk about, you know, them being against methadone and Suboxone, but at least I'm not going to go back to the drug that I used to, which ruined my life.
Another myth is that methadone and buprenorphine should only be taken for a short period to help someone detox from opioids. The truth is that for many people with opioid use disorder, recovery happens when medication and counseling are used longer term.
What we're finding is patients usually need anywhere between 2 and 5 years of medication for their brain to heal, for their ability to survive without opioids and falling back on that to be able to be cemented and get positive results.
The medications that I'm taking is Suboxone, and it's helping me live a better life and be a better person, because if without it, I would be a hot mess.
Suboxone helps you to maintain your life of sobriety. It keeps you on the right path. It's kind of like if you're a diabetic and you have to take medicine because you're a diabetic. This is the same thing.
I think we have about 58 people in our MAP program right now, and they're from every family in the tribe, and
it's made huge impacts on all of those people.
To learn more, text opioids to 97779 to receive videos, quizzes, and more to grow your knowledge about opioids and learn how you can be an effective advocate for your community. Also visit the Northwest Portland Area Indian Health Board's website at www.npaihb.org/opioid for information, fact sheets, and videos about opioids.
Starting your own vegetable garden is a great way to get outside, spend quality time with loved ones, and invest in the future of your health while also saving money. The following tips can help you get started on your very own vegetable garden. Tip number 1, create a plan. Every successful garden starts with good research and planning. Learn what type of vegetables grow best based on your climate, soil conditions, and geographic location. Determine where to put your garden. This location will give you an idea of how much sunlight to expect and what kind of vegetable will fit within your plot. Decide whether to start with seeds or transplants. Now that you have a solid plan in place, it's time for tip number 2. Prepare your soil. It's recommended to test your soil for pH level and make sure there isn't any lead in it from old house paint. Most plants prefer a deep, well-drained, fertile soil rich in organic matter. So you'll want to look into how deep to till your soil and whether to add compost. Tip number 3, follow instructions. Many seed packs have planting instructions on them, while most starter plants are planted at the same depth as the pot they came in. And last but not least, tip number 4, nurture your garden. Make sure to keep ahead of weeds, look out for pests, and check the soil regularly for how wet or dry it is to determine the right time to water your garden. Keep an eye on the forecast to determine whether nature plans to water your garden for you. Properly caring for a vegetable garden takes practice and patience to get it right, but the benefits are clear. Sunlight, exercise, and best of all, a fresh, healthy harvest to share with the loved ones.
Getting a COVID-19 vaccine will help prevent serious complications from COVID-19. And with the vaccine being distributed across the country, you may be wondering what to expect. You may have some side effects from the vaccination, but this is normal. It's just your body building protection against COVID-19. Some of the common side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, chills, fever, tiredness, and headache. These side effects are much like having the flu, but should go away in a few days. If you have pain or swelling at the injection site, use or exercise your arm and apply a clean, cool, wet washcloth over the area to reduce pain. If a fever is causing you discomfort, drink plenty of fluids and dress in light clothing. Talk to your healthcare provider if you have pain or discomfort from a fever. They may suggest an over-the-counter pain reliever like ibuprofen or acetaminophen. Discomfort or pain from a fever is normal, but if it reddens or tenderness gets worse after 24 hours, if your side effects are worrying you or they do not go away after a few days, call your healthcare provider. If you experience any difficulty breathing, swelling of your face or throat, fast heartbeat, or dizziness and weakness, call your healthcare provider immediately. After you get the vaccine, remember to get a second dose if one is required. Continue to wear a mask in public, avoid crowds, and stay 6 feet away from others and wash your hands often. Good Health TV is an educational health and wellness network made especially for Native American people. We're looking to hire freelance filmmakers, influencers, graphic artists, and health advocates to help us create new content. For more information, please email content@goodhealthtv.com.
Native Reach is excited to announce the launch of our new customizable app. By customizing the app for your organization, you can connect with your community directly. This isn't just another app. It's a communication network with content built specifically for your community. The best part? You can access the app from any device. Connect with your community with Native Reach. Reach out today to learn more.
Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 to 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such there is no law. Kindness. Someone shows you compassion that cannot be repaid. You do something for someone to help them out when they didn't ask. The Great Spirit gives us grace and asks us to show compassion to those around us even if we feel they don't deserve it. Kindness is something we can also show ourselves by being compassionate and understanding of what we consider to be our own failings. Show thoughtfulness and goodwill to those around you every day and recognize that we all deserve to be treasured.
According to the CDC, pregnant people might be at an increased risk for severe illness from COVID-19 compared to non-pregnant people. Additionally, there may be an increased risk of adverse pregnancy outcomes such as preterm birth among pregnant people with COVID-19. If you are pregnant, be mindful about reducing your risk of getting sick. Limit your interactions with other people as much as possible, and take precautions to prevent COVID-19 when you do interact with others, such as maintaining a distance of 6 feet and wearing a cloth face covering. In addition to preventing illness, there are other things to consider when it comes to COVID-19 and pregnancy. Do not skip prenatal appointments, make sure to have at least a 30-day supply of medicines on hand, and continue getting recommended vaccines. Talk to your healthcare provider if you have any questions about your health or the health of your baby. Call 911 immediately if you have a medical emergency. For more information on COVID-19, visit cdc.gov/coronavirus.
Life can be unpredictable. So what if you have an appointment with your healthcare provider, but something comes up and you just can't make it? Please take a moment to call and let us know. Many times, someone else is waiting to get an appointment and can fill that time slot.
Opioids have impacted my family by they weren't concerned about getting enough rest. And then you start seeing the paraphernalia.
I would find like tin foil with like black stuff all over it, like in my room or in her room or like in the kitchen. She got like really mean, and she got like super like skinny, and she would always like nod out.
My son's an example. He was pretty bad. We thought we were going to lose him for a while. He didn't care about anybody but himself and getting the next high. Stole from me.
When you're helping other folks, other people, to help them when they're through their recovery, it's good to be supportive. It's mainly about asking, letting them know we care and trying to keep the hope alive.
I try to just be the person that I needed when I was in my active addiction, and that would be just to like love them, be there, support them. I try to encourage them. I do a lot of just listening to them, and when they're ready, they're ready.
For me, I was there always. If he just wanted to talk, I would listen, and he always had a home. I have a really good friend, and she's always my support. And she has gone through the same situation with 3 of her kids before I went through it with mine.
I was having a rough time. I was getting unbalanced. I felt like I was getting torn apart by other people, and I thought, wait, I need to get back in touch with myself to take care of myself. And that's called self-care. I cannot help other people unless I take care of myself.
What I did to de-stress is to either like lie down for a little bit or just take a deep breath outside.
I think the best way to encourage your loved one to get help is just loving them through it no matter what. I think that connection is the opposite of addiction, and I believe by just being there for your family and not rejecting them and making them feel like an outsider, I think that's like the best thing you can do.
One of the things that I believe helps people with their opioid disorder and struggling is kindness and treating them how you would want to be treated.
My mom went to jail, and then she got into the MAT program at the Silet's clinic. Life is really good now because every day we have a routine to go. I go to school, and then she goes to work, and we come home and she makes dinner. I'm proud of my mom because she's working really hard.
When he chose to get help, I was a happy mother, and I thanked God for answering my prayers. I still continue to be a caregiver, I think, today because I support him in what he's doing, and I'm always there if he needs an answer to a question or he just needs a hug. Mom's there, and if you're going through the same thing, I say don't give up on him. There's always hope. Never give up trying.
To learn more, text opioids to 97779 to receive videos, quizzes, and more to grow your knowledge about opioids and learn how you can be an effective advocate for your community. Also visit the Northwest Portland Area Indian Health Board's website at www.npaihb.org/opioid for information, fact sheets, and videos about opioids.
I'm Oglala Sioux from Pine Ridge. Secondhand smoke changed my life dramatically. I'm not active anymore when I used to be. When I used to dance at powwows competitively, when I wasn't sick with this illness, I could dance, several songs. As compared to now, it takes so much to recuperate. It takes so much time to recuperate, and I attribute all that to the secondhand smoke exposure. When I can't catch my breath, it's like breathing through a straw. You can't get enough air. No matter how much you try, you can't get enough air. I see friends that I used to dance against, and some of them don't know how sick I am, how bad my illness is. So they'll say, "Where's your outfit? Come on, let's go dance." And when somebody says something like that to you, of course, it's like somebody challenging you to a basketball game. You're like, "Oh, all right, let's go." But up here, you want to go do it, but your body says no. So I've had people ask me, how do you cope with it? How does that make you feel? Doesn't that make you mad? I say, yeah, it does, but there's nothing I can do about it. But there is one thing I can do about the exposure to secondhand smoke. I can make people aware of it, what it can and will do to you. So that's what I'm doing.
Right now, the U.S. is experiencing a crisis like no other. Overdoses from opioids like pain relievers, heroin, and fentanyl are on the rise and are claiming the lives of many people. If someone you care about is using, you may feel helpless. However, with an anti-overdose drug, you can save a life. Anti-overdose drugs reverse the effects of an opioid overdose and restore the breathing of the user. These drugs are more accessible in some states than in others, so ask your doctor if anti-overdose drugs are available in your area. It could save a life.
The future of our tribal nations lies directly in the hearts and minds of the next generation, our children. A recent survey showed that those who began drinking alcohol before age 15 were 5 times more likely to develop an alcohol use disorder than those who waited until age 21 or later. That's why it's so important that we as parents and caregivers band together to help prevent underage drinking in our communities. Research suggests that one of the most important factors in development of a healthy child is a strong, open relationship with a parent or caregiver. By talking with your child about the dangers of underage drinking before they are exposed to alcohol as early as 9 years old, you show that you care about their health, wellness, and success in life. Over 80% of young people ages 10 to 18 say their parents are the leading influence on their decision whether to drink. So be sure to send a clear and strong message that you disapprove of underage drinking. Help them prepare for peer pressure by giving examples of how to say no in various situations. It can be difficult to have this conversation with a child if you yourself are struggling with alcohol use disorder. Even still, it's an important conversation to have. Show them that it's something that you're working on by taking steps towards recovery in the form of counseling, treatment, or a support group. Our children are the future of our tribal nations. Let's talk to them about the dangers of underage drinking today. For more information, visit samhsa.gov/underage-drinking.
Are you done using your prescription pain medication? Dispose of it correctly. Prescription pain medication is easily misused and abused, and the cause of many overdoses and deaths. That's why it's important to get rid of it when you're no longer using it. Medication is often made up of some pretty strong chemicals, and recent reports show that flushing it can be dangerous to the environment. The best way to get rid of prescription medication is by taking it to a drug take-back location. Drug take-back locations are authorized places that accept people's prescription medication to dispose of it the right way. Ask your pharmacy if they're an authorized take-back location, or visit takebackday.dea.gov to find one near you.
Tips to be productive during quarantine. So you can maintain your sanity and not be a couch potato that only binge watches TV and constantly sleeps. Now that you may have a ton of time by yourself, like all the time, so much time you may be bored because you're an outdoor cat that's forced to stay inside. And like a cat, unstructured time can make one day blur into the rest. But you're not a cat, you're a human person, so why not be a productive human person? Here's a few tips that can help you during social distancing, so you can be less like a cat and more like a human person. Exercise every day. If you're anything like your humble narrator, this just sounds like the worst, but it really is good for you. And guess what? If you do it enough, you'll feel better. Things don't creak and crack. Grabbing things from tall shelves isn't a chore, and that roundness in the midsection starts to go away. Seriously, if you could see me now in this audio booth, you'd be impressed. Aprender un nuevo idioma. Apprendre une nouvelle langue. Imparare una nueva lingua. Learn a new language. Speaking is best. Make talk great. Impress them, their families, and friend. Plus, watch films that foreign. No subtitle. Read some books. I mean, you finally got the time. You were always saying, I would totally read The Grapes of Wrath if I only had the time. Well, guess what? Now's the time. It's a long one, but totally worth it. I read that one in high school, so I'm going to read a different book. Besides, stories about giant whales really aren't my thing. Spring cleaning. Did you know it's spring? Seriously, it is. You may not know it, but officially it is. So clean up your place. Organize everything. It's much easier to deal with being stuck inside if you're not staring at a mess. Plus, you can see what color your carpet is. Mine is orange shag, and it's gorgeous. It may take a while, but we will be able to go back out into the world again. You might as well learn a few new things and be a better, more productive person when we come out the other side. These are just a few tips to be productive during quarantine, so you can maintain your sanity and not be a couch potato that only binge watches TV and constantly sleeps. Bye.
Your body is like a well-oiled machine. But sometimes age or autoimmune disorders can wear your body down. The joints in your body contain cartilage that acts like a cushion. But arthritis is a condition that affects those joints. One common type is rheumatoid arthritis, an autoimmune disorder that attacks the lining of your joints. Osteoarthritis, the most common type of arthritis, wears down the cartilage between your bones in a joint. Arthritis can cause joint pain, swelling, and stiffness. Arthritis also makes it harder to manage other illnesses like heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. So who's at risk for arthritis? Age, obesity, previous joint injuries, and a family history of arthritis can all increase your risk of arthritis. Women are also more likely than men to develop arthritis. arthritis can't be completely prevented. But maintaining a healthy weight and refraining from smoking may decrease your risk. If you have arthritis, be physically active every day. Moving your joints actually lessens the pain. Don't let arthritis slow you down. Talk to your doctor about treating your arthritis. For more information, visit www.mayoclinic.org and search arthritis.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You sitting there. Do you want to win a $25 cash card by answering some questions about Good Health TV? Who doesn't? The first 100 people to take the survey will be winners. Visit bit.ly/GHTV survey right now. Yes, now.
Hey, my name's Zion. Tell me about yourself.
Hey Zion, I'm Stephanie Dakota. I'm a member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, and an aunt. And I'm also a social worker.
What's a social worker do?
Well, there's a lot of different kinds of social workers. There's case managers who work with individuals or families or people with disabilities. There are community social workers who work with community needs. They advocate for people, they advocate for groups or a community as a whole. They might advocate for an LGBTQ2S population. There's just so many things you can do with social work, and it depends on what your passion is and who you want to work with and what you want to accomplish.
What keeps you doing social work?
Social work is part of me. As a tribal person, as a Native American, social work and our tribal values really align. And so I think I'm going to be doing social work my whole life because it's part of who I am. It's natural to me.
How did your career in social work begin?
I'm Native American and I lived on and off the reservation, so I understood two different styles of life, two different ways of living. And I knew that I wanted to help Native communities have access to all the same things that other communities had access to. And so that's where my career began. That's where my passion comes from, is helping my community have the very best that they can and be the best that they can be.
How can students in middle school start their path to a career in social work?
You might want to talk to a school counselor or an individual in your school that you trust, that you really like, that you can talk to about what opportunities there are.
Great information, Stephanie. Thanks for sharing it with me today. See ya!
When should you wear gloves to help prevent the spread of coronavirus? In most situations, like going to the grocery store or using an ATM, wearing gloves is not necessary. That's because gloves can still carry germs the same way your hands do. When you touch a surface with germs on it, then touch a commonly touched surface such as your phone or a car steering wheel, you can spread germs to those surfaces, whether or not you're wearing gloves. When you do go out in public, be sure to wear a cloth face covering. Wash your hands with soap and water, use hand sanitizer, and stay at least 6 feet away from others. The CDC does recommend wearing gloves when you're cleaning or caring for someone who is sick. Use disposable gloves when cleaning or disinfecting, and wash your hands after you've removed the gloves. Guidelines and recommendations for glove use in healthcare and work settings may differ from the recommendations for the general public. For more information on keeping yourself, your family, and your community safe from COVID-19, visit cdc.gov/coronavirus.
My name is Amanda, and I smoked while I was pregnant. My baby was born 2 months early and weighed only 3 pounds. This is the view I had of her in the NICU. My tip to you is speak into the opening so your baby can hear you better.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You sitting there. Do you want to win a $25 cash card by answering some questions about Good Health TV? Who doesn't? The first 100 people to take the survey will be winners. Visit bit.ly/GHTV survey right now. Yes, now.
Opioids. You may have heard about them recently in the news or online, but what exactly are they? Well, opioids are a type of drug that may relieve pain. However, opioids can also be addictive and easily abused. In fact, America is currently experiencing an opioid crisis, and many people are dying from abusing and overdosing on these drugs. Some opioids are prescribed by doctors for pain relief and have many different names. There are hydrocodones, like Vicodin, oxycodones like OxyContin and Percocet, oxymorphones like Opana, morphine like Cadian and Avenza, codeine and fentanyl. These are just some of the common names for prescription opioids. As prescribed, pain relievers can be effective, but the first step in preventing an addiction is having an awareness of what you're putting into your body. If you've been prescribed one of these pain relievers or have questions about your prescription, talk to your doctor about how to safely lower your risk of addiction.
I was abusing prescription opioids. I remember thinking that it was from the doctor, so it was okay. I had hit my bottom. I had backed away from my culture when I was in active addiction. And then when I had fully become in my recovery is when I was like, this is who I am. This is my culture and I'm gonna practice it. There was a lot of healing with it, and I'm gonna carry it on and teach it to whoever I can teach it to.
Visit cdc.gov/RX awareness or contact your local health provider.
All right, welcome back to the Heart Health Radio Hour here on HAJKLMNOP. I'm your host, Dr. Art Torrey, here to answer all your heart-related questions. But first, I'd like to take a second to thank today's sponsor, spinach. Loaded with vitamin A, vitamin C, folic acid, iron, and calcium, spinach can help lower blood pressure while helping your vision. Spinach, not just for Popeye, but your eyes too. All right, let's jump right into our first caller. Caller, you're on the Heart Health Radio Hour.
Hey, man, do you know that song Barracuda?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I just thought, you'd probably like it because you're into, stuff.
Well, you're right about that. I mean, I like their first album best, but, Barracuda obviously rocks, man.
Totally. Do you think it's really about a fish?
Probably. I gotta let you go, buddy. Let's see if we got a different heart-related question lined up. Caller, you're on the air.
Do you know how to mend a broken heart? She said she loved me.
I'm in a way, sure I do. Choose healthy foods and drinks, keep a healthy weight, and get regular physical activity, and don't smoke. Make sure to get your heart checked regularly.
Why?
Because that can help determine whether your blood pressure and cholesterol are normal levels.
Oh, you're a heart doctor.
Yes.
Oh, I see what I did. Heartache doc is the next listing down.
Wow. An interesting and rare phone book mistake. Anyway, that's going to do it for our show today. Hey, don't forget you can always learn more about heart disease prevention at cdc.gov/heart disease. This is Dr. Art Torrey wishing all of you out there in Radioland a happy and a healthy heart. Keep on a pumpin'. If you have fully recovered from COVID-19, you may be able to help patients currently fighting the infection by donating your plasma. Because you fought the infection, your plasma now contains COVID-19 antibodies. These antibodies provided one way for your immune system to fight the virus when you were sick, so your plasma may be able to be used to help others fight off the disease. To be eligible to donate, you must have had a prior diagnosis of COVID-19 documented by a laboratory test and meet other donation criteria. You must also be symptom-free for between 14 and 28 days, depending on the donation center. The minimum age to donate in most states is 16 or 17. If you haven't had COVID-19, there are other ways to help. Consider donating blood. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused unprecedented challenges to the U.S. blood supply. Between social distancing and the cancellation of blood drives, blood donations have gone down dramatically. Donating your blood can provide life-saving treatments to those who need it most. In fact, one blood donation can save up to 3 lives. Contact your state health department to learn whether blood or plasma donation is an option in your area. For more information, visit fda.gov. Hey, that's me, Chance. Yeah, I remember that day. That was back when I was still all anti-mask. I'd stare and silently judge people for hours as they walked by. Yep, with that exact look on my face, in fact. Not sure why I was just standing there, though. The thing is, back then, I didn't think masks did anything to prevent the spread of COVID-19, but it turns out I was wrong. My grandma told me the reason she wears a mask is to protect others more so than herself, and that I should do the same. Now, I love Gam Gam, and I would do anything for her. And no, not just because she still buys me toys even though I'm 40 years old, because I love her. Gosh. My collection is pretty sweet, though. I was a little confused what she meant about masks protecting others at first, so I decided to do some research on cdc.gov. I found out that Grandma was right. Wearing a mask protects others in case you're infected with COVID and you don't know it, and that happens more than I thought. Anyway, I started wearing a mask, and well, let's just say I had a little trouble finding the right one. They were either too small, or too big, or made from the wrong kind of material. Others just made me look like some kind of weird elf alien or something. Oh, and I guess you're not supposed to wear it like this, this, or this. Here, I thought I was just being fashionable. Here's the right way to wear a mask. Boom, snug against the side, covers nose and mouth, secured under chin, wabam. You should take it off like so. Be careful not to touch your face, and wash your hands before and after. I found out that a good mask is made up of 2 or more layers of washable, breathable fabric, fits snugly against the sides of your face without gaps, and completely covers your nose and mouth. I even started making my own designer masks. Some of them got a little out there, I'll admit. During my research, I also learned that children 2 years and younger should not wear a mask, and that if you wear glasses, you should have a nose wire on your mask to limit fogging. Then you might not do what I just did there. Oh man, I almost forgot to mention how important it is to wash your cloth masks regularly. I wear a disposable mask while washing mine. Oh come on, you know them underoos are the bomb. So yeah, that's my story. I used to think masks were lame, but now I wear one whenever I'm in public. I want to protect my family and community from a virus I may not even know I have. Wearing a mask is a sign of respect and love. And so is Grandma buying me a toy. She's the best.
The United States is in the midst of an opioid epidemic. Opioid overdose deaths have increased nearly 200% since the year 2000. Common opioids like morphine, codeine, and heroin are derived from the opium plant. But some opioids are made artificially, like oxycodone, hydrocodone, and fentanyl. These types of opioids are the most common causes of overdose deaths in 2016. Nearly 20,000 deaths were due to fentanyl use. Fentanyl is especially dangerous. It is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine and 30 to 50 times stronger than heroin. Fentanyl is often cut into other drugs like heroin without the user ever knowing it. Even a small amount can cause an overdose. Just 1/4 of a milligram can kill you. Another alarming fact is, statistics don't always get through to a lot of people. So maybe this will. This is where my friend overdosed. We would come to this park together to get high so we could look after each other. And that day he had trouble breathing and his lips turned blue. He had a seizure and I tried to bring him back. But the fentanyl was too much and didn't work. And then he died right in front of me. I never thought I would personally know a statistic. His name was Devin, and I miss him. He was my friend.
Stress can come from many places, from your job, your family, the news, and the world around you. While we can't always control what happens around us, we can control how we respond to it by prioritizing our mental health. One way to protect your mental health is by limiting how much you watch the news or look at social media feeds. It's important to take breaks from both and be present in what's happening around you. Another way to care for your mind is to care for your body too. Meditate, pray, stretch. Find time to find peace in each day. Also, eat healthy, exercise in some way every day, and stay away from things that can make stress worse like drugs and alcohol. Do what makes you happy. Find an activity you truly enjoy and make time to actually do it. Maybe take up painting or finish that project, or learn a new language. Anything to engage your mind in productive activities. One of the most important things you can do for your mental health is to take care of others. Humans were made to have community with others, and we thrive when we help each other, especially during stressful or trying times. Call people who might be lonely. Ask your neighbor if you can pick up groceries for them. Pay for someone's meal or mow your neighbor's lawn. When we help others, we help our minds more than ever. And finally, don't deny your thoughts and feelings. It's okay to not be okay. So talk about your feelings with someone you trust, and then put them in their proper place in your life versus dwelling on them.
Bonjour, my name is Lisa Martin, and I am a member of the Lac du Flambeau Band of Chippewa Indians in northern Wisconsin. We have a shortage in nursing for a variety of reasons. We especially need American Indian men and women who are interested in nursing. American Indians continue to be the group within our country who have the lowest ratings in terms of health and the greatest challenges. Something that we've found promising most recently is the greater number of American Indian nurses we have, the better to help bridge the Western medical view and the American Indian view, which is a circular, holistic, more dynamic view. American Indian nurses play a very unique role in bridging those two viewpoints for American Indian patients, families, and communities. So they're very needed. American Indian young people bring a world of experience that is greatly needed in healthcare. I would want to encourage them to think strongly about all they could bring from their life experience to this career.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You sitting there. Do you want to win a $25 cash card by answering some questions about Good Health TV? Who doesn't? The first 100 people to take the survey will be winners. Visit bit.ly/GHTV survey right now. Yes, now.
What is this?
Hey, we need to call.
Our culture is our prevention. Make the right choice.
Opioids are prescription painkillers like oxycodone, hydrocodone, codeine, morphine, tramadol, and fentanyl. Misuse of these drugs can cause an opioid overdose. Naloxone is medication designed to rapidly reverse opioid overdose. If someone you know is using opioids, carrying naloxone could save their life. Talk to your healthcare provider or local law enforcement about naloxone. For more information, visit drugabuse.gov.
You might have been cooped up inside all winter, and now that it's warmer, you may be itching to take your skateboard or scooter out for a ride. It's a great idea. Skating, longboarding, and riding a scooter are all great ways to get outside and get moving. However, nearly 50 children every hour go to the emergency room with injuries from scooter, skateboard, bike, or roller skate falls. Fortunately, there are some things you can do to be safer and still have fun. Those things are wearing helmets, knee pads, and elbow pads. You may think you don't need a helmet because you have lots of experience skating. Perhaps you find a helmet uncomfortable, or you don't think it's cool because your friends don't wear one. Did you know that 11% of all emergency room visits were because of serious head injuries because of skateboard, bike, or scooter falls? Even though it may not look cool to wear a helmet, brain damage is even less cool. Kids' brains aren't fully developed. Head injuries aren't good for anyone, but concussions, fractures, and internal injuries can have serious consequences for young developing minds. So make sure to wear a properly fitting helmet and pads, and ignore your friends who may laugh at you. Who knows, you might even start a safety trend in your group. Safety can start with you. For more information about having fun and protecting yourself from injury, visit safekids.org.
I got hurt and doctor gave me pills, and then next thing you know, I was like addicted to them. After my prescription was over with, I would try to go find pills to buy.
I had this whole idea about people that used opiates, and then it happened to me. I got sick and I was dependent. My whole life was consumed.
I lost my brother, and that's when I started doing heroin and meth and anything that came across me, I would do because I just wanted to cover my pain.
Things that were important to me stopped being important, like taking care of my daughter and showing up on time to pick up my kid from school or going to work. So my life really got consumed by using drugs, and it became really noticeable to my family and friends. And I pretend like I was a good parent and that my kid came first, but really she didn't. That's horrible to say and it's hard to say, but it's true that everybody was on the back burner. My drugs came first.
It ruined my marriage and took me away from my kids.
I was missing out on a lot and not realizing it,
I decided that I needed to get help when my daughter was taken away.
I was just done living the homeless life, trying to find it, what you had to do for it.
Noticed that it wasn't just affecting me, that it was affecting my family members who loved me and cared for me and my friends. I was also hurting them. That's when I realized, this isn't good for myself or anybody around me, I didn't even know that this place existed, Degwallich, until one of my friends told me that they're going to their appointment at Degwallich, and I was like, what's that, And so I tagged along with them here, and he told me that this place helps, better your life and get you on the medications that you need to better your life, like Suboxone and methadone if you need it.
So I had known about the MAT program in Siletz, and I had always had this idea in my head, if I could just get 10 days of clean time, I could get on this shot called Vivitrol. So I got out of jail and I did exactly that. I went to the Siletz clinic and they gave me the shot that day, and I've been clean and sober ever since.
Well, now that I'm on methadone, I have my own job, I have my own car, and I take care of my children.
The medications that I'm taking is Suboxone, and it's helping me live a better life and be a better person.
I have a relationship with my mom that I used to never have. I have a relationship with my daughter that was estranged. I feel like I have respect in my community. I can walk around town with my head held high. Those are the gifts that I have today.
If I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it if they're willing to do the work and is really ready to change their life for the better.
To learn more, text opioids to 97779 to receive videos, quizzes, and more to grow your knowledge about opioids and learn how you can be an effective advocate for your community. Also visit the Northwest Portland Area Indian Health Board's website at www.npaihb.org www.hrcrc.org/opioid for information, fact sheets, and videos about opioids.
Let's talk about HIV. It's a virus that attacks the immune system and is spread from one person to another through blood, semen, vaginal secretions, and breast milk. Anyone can get HIV, but some people are more at risk than others due to many factors, including the status of their sex partner, their behaviors, and prevalence in their communities. PrEP is a safe and highly effective medication that can reduce your risk of HIV. If you're at risk for HIV, it's time to make prevention a priority. Talk to your healthcare provider to find out if PrEP is right for you.
That's good.
Since my mother got cancer from smoking, I've learned a lot of things. Like how to help her out of bed, how to help her in the bath, how to keep track of her medication, and how to keep her spirits up.
Good morning, sweetie.
Sleep well. I love you.
I love you too.
The people you love are worth quitting for. You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Each of our tribal nations are blessed with our own unique forms of beauty.
We unfortunately have one thing in common.
Opioid abuse is killing our people.
If you're struggling with an opioid addiction, you can overcome it.
Start by talking to someone, especially an addiction counselor, about getting help.
Let the strength of our ancestors guide your journey of healing through prayer and ceremony.
You are invaluable to our people.
The next generation looks up to you.
A better future for them starts with you.
Pregnancy is a beautiful experience. It's an amazing journey of physical transformation, filled with soft, tender moments shared between you and the tiny human growing inside you. It's moments like these that put everything into perspective. Okay. So, pregnancy can also be a little stressful at times. Hormonal changes are a real thing after all. Even still, it's important to focus on the positive. Take time to appreciate the deep, nurturing bond being formed with the child in your womb. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Focus on the beauty of the present moment. Okay, so honestly, sometimes the experience of pregnancy feels like a waking nightmare that never seems to end. But beyond that, it's pretty much amazing. It's important to remember that though you may not always feel or look it, you're beautiful. Nothing can change that. When it comes to dealing with stress during pregnancy, just remember to stay physically active, eat healthy foods, drink lots of water, find time for things that you enjoy, relax, get plenty of sleep, and check in often with your healthcare provider about your mental and physical health. It couldn't be simpler. You've got this. Trust me. Everything is going to be okay. You look great, by the way.
Hey, Ma, look who's talking. It's your #1 favorite baby, me. Listen, Ma, I gotta ask you something. When you gonna bring me in to get my immunizations? Seems like no matter where I go, I'm surrounded by germs. They're in the food I eat, the air I breathe, they're even on the things I put in my mouth. I mean, I know I probably shouldn't do that last one, but hey, if I can pick it up with my little hand, it's going in my mouth. Fair warning. So yeah, I know my body's got an immune system to protect me from most germs, but there's quite a few diseases out there that my body just ain't ready for yet. Vaccines help strengthen my precious little immune system and protect me from serious diseases. You gotta love that. Not sure which vaccines I need to get at what age? Don't worry, Ma, I got you covered. I went to cdc.gov the other day and printed out one of them vaccination schedules. What? You left your iPad right there on the table. What am I supposed to do? Not research information about my health? Oh, and I might have gotten a little drool on there. Sorry about that. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I also learned that vaccines are safe and their side effects are mild. Deadly diseases, on the other hand, yeah, not so mild. So please, Ma, do me a favor and bring me in so I can get vaccinated, will ya? Don't worry, I won't cry. I mean, I'm pretty sure I won't cry. Well, if I'm being totally honest, there's a good chance I will cry. But that's, a small price to pay for a lot of disease prevention. I'll get over it. Look, I know you probably got lots of questions, so why not head on over to cdc.gov/vaccines to learn more, or just talk to your healthcare provider about it. Believe it or not, they know a lot more about this stuff than I do. I know, hard to believe. Not to change the subject, but I was thinking later you might want to, tickle me or whatever. Hey, I'm not saying I like it, okay? It's just, times have been tough lately and I could use a good laugh. That's all. So you in or what? Thanks, Ma. You're the best.
Hey, my name's Zion. Tell me about yourself.
Hey Zion, I'm Stephanie Dakota. I'm a member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, and an aunt. And I'm also a social worker.
What's a social worker do?
Well, there's a lot of different kinds of social workers. There's case managers who work with individuals or families or people with disabilities. There are community social workers who work with community needs. They advocate for people, they advocate for groups or a community as a whole. They might advocate for an LGBTQ2S population. There's just so many things you can do with social work, and it depends on what your passion is and who you want to work with and what you want to accomplish.
What keeps you doing social work?
Social work is part of me. As a tribal person, as a Native American, social work and our tribal values really align. And so I think I'm going to be doing social work my whole life because it's part of who I am. It's natural to me.
How did your career in social work begin?
I'm Native American and I lived on and off the reservation, so I understood two different styles of life, two different ways of living. And I knew that I wanted to help Native communities have access to all the same things that other communities had access to. And so that's where my career began. That's where my passion comes from, is helping my community have the very best that they can and be the best that they can be.
How can students in middle school start their path to a career in social work?
You might want to talk to a school counselor or an individual in your school that you trust, that you really like, that you can talk to about what opportunities there are.
Great information, Stephanie. Thanks for sharing it with me today. See ya!
Hello everyone, and welcome to Good Health TV News. I'm your host, Joe Creelbad. Today's top stories. According to a recent press release by the CDC, reported cases of sexually transmitted diseases, or STDs, continue to rise. 2.5 million cases of STDs such as chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis were reported in 2019, an increase of nearly 30% from just 4 years earlier. The risk of STDs for Native Americans is 3 to 5 times higher than that of non-Hispanic white people. Many STDs do not show symptoms and can have serious health consequences if left untreated. Thankfully, many STDs are treatable and preventable by using protection and getting tested. Talk to your healthcare provider for more information. 3 Cherokee ballerinas from the Academy of Performing Arts in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, have been chosen to participate in an elite Russian ballet training program. Reese Cowart, Lacey Ulrich, and Cassandra Mankiller were selected to participate in the 5 to 6 week intensive training program after performing auditions via Zoom video. All 3 girls are excited to represent both their dancing academy and the Cherokee Nation as a whole. When I asked the program why they didn't include me, they responded by saying, quote, "Your routine, while very passionate, demonstrated a complete lack of flexibility, balance, style, grace, and fundamental knowledge of even the most basic of ballet techniques." End quote. To this I respond with one word: ouch. Comedian and actor Tatanka Means is the latest of many Native American actors cast in the upcoming Martin Scorsese film Killers of the Flower Moon, which is currently being filmed in Oklahoma. When asked why I wasn't asked to be in the film, Scorsese replied, quote, "How did you get in my trailer? I'm calling security." I'm expecting a call back any day now. And that's going to do it for today's news. On behalf of Good Health TV, this is Joe Creelbad. Remember, we feel bad if you don't feel good. We'll see you next time. I think it had a lot to do with my tutu not being back from the dry cleaners. I don't know. I feel like that maybe hurt my chances more than anything, but you know, whatever. There's always a movie career. Nope. News anchor it is. I'll have to work. I'll have to work.
Are you done using your prescription pain medication? Dispose of it correctly. Prescription pain medication is easily misused and abused, and the cause of many overdoses and deaths. That's why it's important to get rid of it when you're no longer using it. Medication is often made up of some pretty strong chemicals, and recent reports show that flushing it can be dangerous to the environment. The best way to get rid of prescription medication is by taking it to a drug take-back location. Drug take-back locations are authorized places that accept people's prescription medication to dispose of it the right way. Ask your pharmacy if they're an authorized take-back location, or visit takebackday.dea.gov to find one near you.
Masks help prevent the spread of COVID-19 and are recommended for people aged 2 and older. Before putting on your mask, be sure to wash your hands or use hand sanitizer. Put the mask over your nose and mouth and secure it under your chin. Fit the mask snugly against the sides of your face, slipping the loops over your ears or tying the strings behind your head. If you have to continually adjust your mask, it doesn't fit properly, and you might need to find a different mask type or brand. It's important to keep a spare mask to replace one that becomes wet from moisture in your breath, snow, or rain. Wet masks are harder to breathe through and less efficient at filtering. When taking off your mask, untie the strings behind your head or stretch the ear loops. Do not touch the mask itself, and be careful not to touch your eyes, nose, and mouth. Fold the outside corners together and dispose of the mask immediately, unless the mask is reusable, in which case you should place the mask in the washing machine. After removing the mask, wash your hands immediately. For more information on preventing the spread of COVID-19, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19.
Managing blood sugar is one of the keys to living well with diabetes, and eating well is one of the keys to managing blood sugar. Most healthy meals start with a good meal plan. First, you should avoid grocery shopping on an empty stomach whenever possible, in order to avoid the temptation of buying junk food like chips, cookies, and candy. Rather, shop in the fresh produce aisle first. Look for fresh fruits and vegetables that are high in fiber, such as spinach, apples, carrots, green beans, and cabbage. These types of foods help prevent your blood sugar from spiking, while also providing you with a healthy boost of energy. Experts agree that around half your plate should be filled with fruits and veggies, leaving a quarter for lean proteins like eggs, fish, and poultry, and the last quarter for starchy foods like potatoes, rice, and quinoa. And finally, if you haven't done so already, try to get in the habit of reading nutrition labels, as understanding them can help you make healthier choices. Pay attention to the serving size, total number of carbs, and vitamins and minerals present on each label, and compare them with similar items to help inform the healthiest choice. While life with diabetes can feel like a challenge some days, just remember the quality and quantity of what you eat plays a critical role in proper diabetes management. Talk to your healthcare provider for more information.
I'm gonna be someday. Not so dorky now, huh? If these guys can do it, so can you. So next time you're ready to game it up, remember to protect your eyes, especially if they're as intoxicating as mine.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You sitting there. Do you want to win a $25 cash card by answering some questions about Good Health TV? Who doesn't? The first 100 people to take the survey will be winners. Visit bit.ly/GHTV survey right now. Yes, now.
Right now, something is happening in epic proportions, an epidemic of hepatitis C. Hepatitis C is a virus transmitted through exposure to infected blood. Most commonly, hepatitis C is contracted from injection drug use, dirty needles being the biggest culprit. Hepatitis C often doesn't show any symptoms. That's where things get dangerous. When left unnoticed, hepatitis C can eventually become chronic and can cause liver damage or cancer. But if it's caught early, antiviral medications can treat the infection 95% of the time. Whoa. So, real talk. Drug use is dangerous, and getting clean will always be the best decision. But a big part of preventing hepatitis C requires one small step: using clean needles. Think you may have already used dirty needles? Talk to a doctor immediately about getting tested for hepatitis C. Getting clean is possible. Call the National Substance Abuse Hotline today at 1-800-662-HELP.
Hey, my name's Zion. Tell me about yourself.
Hi, Zion. My name is Vinny. I'm an enrolled member with the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation, and I also work for the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. I have two current positions. One, I work at a child safety center, and two, I work in the evenings at our local community college teaching social work classes.
What types of social workers are there?
Well, there's lots of different social workers and different social worker positions and roles. You could work in the medical field, you can work in the education field, you can work with children and families, you can work with elderly, you can work in hospitals, anywhere, any kind of medical field you can think of, there's social workers needed to work with people.
How did your career in social work begin?
When I was younger, when I think about middle school and high school years, I saw professionals or adults, that were doing these jobs, and I always imagined that none of these jobs are going to be available when I'm older. Why would I want to go for that? I had dreams of, playing basketball as a professional goal of mine. Like I wanted to be like Michael Jordan, I wanted to follow those footsteps. I mean, we get older and we start, developing ourselves as a person, and you kind of realize that these goals are achievable, and some of the things that you do in your everyday life are already kind of at a core value of social work.
How can students in middle school start their path to a career in social work?
First and foremost, I think students that are thinking about their future and thinking about social work are awesome people already. Going into the field of social work is by no means a walk in the park. It's not easy, but it is rewarding. It is already something kids are doing, networking and advocating for their friends and family.
Great information, Vinny. Thanks for sharing with me. See ya.
One, two. What is this? Always dancing.
Our culture is our prevention. Make the right choice.
Melanoma is a term for a type of skin cancer that takes place in melanin, or the pigmentation of the skin. Melanoma is the most serious form of skin cancer and accounts for 75% of all skin cancer-related deaths. Melanoma occurs when certain skin cells grow abnormally and uncontrollably. There is no single cause of melanoma, but genetics and certain behaviors can increase the risk. Other risk factors include having many moles, a family history of melanoma, a history of sunburns, and excessive exposure to UV radiation. All skin types are at risk for melanoma. The first indicator of melanoma is a change in an existing mole or a new unusual growth or pigmentation on the body. To help determine if a mole should be looked at by a doctor, remember A, B, C, D, E. A is for asymmetrical shape, meaning the mole doesn't have a uniform border. B is for irregular border, meaning the border is jagged or uneven. C is for color. Cancerous moles will often have many different colors. D is for diameter. Any moles larger than 1/4 of an inch should be checked out by a doctor. E is for evolving, such as when existing moles change in shape, color, or size. If a mole shows any of these signs, have it checked out by a medical professional immediately. But melanoma doesn't only occur as a mole. Melanoma can also occur as unusual growths or pigmentations on the body, and sometimes in hard-to-see places. People with darker skin tones are more likely to experience melanoma in areas not commonly checked. For example, it can be found under the nails, in the eye, and even between the buttocks. Melanoma can't be completely prevented, but there are ways to reduce your risk. When you're outside, stay in the shade as much as possible from 10 to 4 when the sun is at its strongest, and always wear sunscreen. Avoid tanning beds and sun lamps. And finally, familiarize yourself with your body to be able to notice any unusual growths or changes in new or existing moles. Take care of the skin you're in. Protect yourself from melanoma.
As Indigenous people, we should never feel ashamed or shame someone else for talking about HIV. Instead, let's empower and celebrate one another for taking control of our health. That includes talking about PrEP. For those of us at risk, PrEP is a safe and highly effective once-a-day medication to help prevent HIV. Let's make the stigma surrounding HIV a thing of the past. If you know someone who would benefit from PrEP, encourage them to talk to their healthcare provider for more information. This project is made possible through the Minority HIV/AIDS Fund. While it may seem like any other chore, cleaning out an old shed, barn, or garage can be a matter of life and death if you're not careful about a possible rodent infestation. Rodents can be infected with hantavirus, a severe viral illness with no available treatment. When urine, droppings, or saliva of infected rodents are stirred up, like during a cleaning for example, the virus can get into the air, putting you at risk for inhaling it and becoming infected yourself. To clean a rodent-infested space safely to avoid hantavirus, here are a few tips to remember. Begin by airing out the space for at least 30 minutes before cleaning it. This allows fresh air to enter the area. Wear rubber gloves and use disinfectant on any areas contaminated with rodent droppings, like the floors or other surfaces. Then, wipe it up with paper towels or a mop. Always follow directions for how long a surface must remain wet with disinfectant. Then, throw away the paper towels and gloves. Discard or wash the mop and wash your hands. Do not vacuum or sweep the area, as that could make the virus go into the air. When it's time to clean up that old space, be sure to follow these steps to protect yourself. For more information, visit cdc.gov/hantavirus.
I would almost do anything to get myself prescription opioids. I'm from Naknek, Alaska. I remember the day that everything changed for me in treatment. To be able to heal with your own people. I think it was the best day of my life. There is hope. Just don't give up.
Visit cdc.gov/rxawareness or contact your local health provider.
Opioids are prescription painkillers like oxycodone, hydrocodone, codeine, morphine, tramadol, and fentanyl. Misuse of these drugs can cause an opioid overdose. Naloxone is medication designed to rapidly reverse opioid overdose. If someone you know is using opioids, carrying naloxone could save their life. Talk to your healthcare provider or local law enforcement about naloxone. For more information, visit drugabuse.gov.
Your eyes, the way you see and experience the world around you for the beauty that it is. Protect the gift and take care of your vision. Here's how. First, know what you're working with. Find out if there are any eye diseases or complications in your family so you can work to prevent them. Quit smoking or never start. Smoking is as dangerous for your eyes as it is for the rest of your body. Eat a nutritious diet of fruits, vegetables, and fish, and maintain a healthy weight to keep your eyes healthy from the inside out. It's also equally important to protect your eyes externally. Wear sunglasses to protect them from the sun's dangerous UV rays. When you're using power tools or playing sports, wear eye protective gear. If you wear contacts, clean them thoroughly and make sure to wash your hands before changing them to prevent an infection. Technology is everywhere, and most of our days are spent using it, so it's important to take a break and give your eyes a rest every 20 minutes. The best way to take care of your eyes? Get a dilated eye exam once a year. See the world the way it's meant to be seen. Protect your vision.
Opioids. You may have heard about them recently in the news or online, but what exactly are they? Well, opioids are a type of drug that may relieve pain. However, opioids can also be addictive and easily abused. In fact, America is currently experiencing an opioid crisis, and many people are dying from abusing and overdosing on these drugs. Some opioids are prescribed by doctors for pain relief and have many different names. There are hydrocodones, like Vicodin, oxycodones like OxyContin and Percocet, oxymorphones like Opana, morphine like Cadian and Avenza, codeine and fentanyl. These are just some of the common names for prescription opioids. As prescribed, pain relievers can be effective, but the first step in preventing an addiction is having an awareness of what you're putting into your body. If you've been prescribed one of these pain relievers or have questions about your prescription, talk to your doctor about how to safely lower your risk of addiction.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You sitting there. Do you want to win a $25 cash card by answering some questions about Good Health TV? Who doesn't? The first 100 people to take the survey will be winners. Visit bit.ly/GHTV survey right now. Yes, now.
I had this whole idea about people that used opiates, and then it happened to me. I got sick and I was dependent. My whole life was consumed.
It definitely brought a lot of pain out that I didn't know existed. I've never felt so much pain in my life.
Opioid addiction has caused a great deal of suffering for American Indian and Alaska Native people. Fortunately, though, there is more hope than ever. Today, we have effective treatments that can help those who are addicted to opioids recover. For instance, recommending that patients speak with a counselor on a regular basis can help them change their behaviors related to their opioid use. Prescribing certain medications, like methadone and buprenorphine, may make the recovery process easier, by decreasing patients' cravings and withdrawal symptoms. Combining behavioral health counseling with medication to treat opioid addiction is called medication-assisted treatment, or MAT. Research has demonstrated that MAT is the most effective way to recover from opioid addiction.
You see people come in and they're just struggling to get by, and then as a few weeks go by and they're in the program, they just have like this light in their eyes. They're not sick. They're able to like laugh and like enjoy the moment with you, and they're just totally different people. It's amazing.
The effects of Suboxone and have definitely given me my life back.
They got me into these good programs where they have counseling here, they have classes that help us, acupuncture that helps us, and they also have a medical department that helps also.
It's helped me through a lot of different stuff that I've been through in my life. With the staff, with the counselors, you know, they care.
So my life is kind of like living proof that this program works. I have a relationship with my mom that I used to never have. I have a relationship with my daughter that was estranged. I feel like I have respect in my community.
Things are just greater than ever. I mean, finally, we've been suffering for, well, like I have, and the people I've been around for like at least 8 years, 9 years. And so it's time. It's like we're sick of it.
We can heal our communities through educating ourselves and others about opioids and supporting those who are struggling. Plus, as we've learned, there are life-saving medications that can help people who are addicted to opioids recover. To learn more, text opioids to 97779 to receive videos, quizzes, and more to grow your knowledge about opioids and learn how you can be an effective advocate for your community. Also visit the Northwest Portland Area Indian Health Board's website at www.npaihb.org/opioid for information, fact sheets, and videos about opioids.
I decided to quit because my son, Nicholas, wrote me a letter when he was about 11 years old. He wrote me a letter and left it on the kitchen table for me to read. And once I saw that, I felt really badly because I knew it was affecting him, and he knew that smoking was bad for you. So he wrote it when he was 11. It says, "Dear Mom, smoking. Thank you, Mom, for quitting smoking. I know you can do it. It is a hard thing to do, but smoking kills you. So you are saving your life. I'm lucky to have parents like you and Daddy, because maybe other parents would probably say, oh, he's just a kid. But you are the best mom in the world. Don't smoke." And then he drew a little something, which is cute. It's me smoking, and then that's like before and after, and that's a dead me. That's him crying because he was afraid that I was going to die. And I made copies of it, and I keep it everywhere. Obviously I keep this one in my wallet, and I keep some at my desk, and I have them at home on my refrigerator, so it's like everywhere. My son is really proud that I quit smoking. He thinks it's the best thing I've ever done, and he thanked me for it. I think I'm being a good role model now.
Do cloth face coverings like bandanas and homemade masks help reduce the spread of COVID-19? In short, yes. Now, they may not protect the wearer, but they may keep the wearer from spreading the virus to others. This is important because you can have the virus for weeks and spread it to others without showing any symptoms. The CDC recommends all people 2 years or older wear a cloth face covering if able, in public settings and when around people who don't live in your household. Cloth face coverings are recommended as a simple barrier to help prevent respiratory droplets from traveling into the air and onto other people. So, what are respiratory droplets? They're basically that misty stuff that comes out of your mouth and nose when you talk, cough, sneeze, or sing. These droplets can be pretty hard to see, we've got some spray bottles filled with colored water to help us demonstrate. Thanks. And here with me as well is this mannequin face thing. Let's call it Quinn. You don't mind getting sprayed with respiratory droplets, do you, Quinn? Okay, so let's say this red bottle is someone infected with COVID-19, but doesn't know it. They're at the grocery store buying pepper and they sneeze, while our mannequin is in the same aisle looking for paprika. Achoo! Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Did I get you? Now, let's use the blue bottle with the cloth covering in between to see if it helps, okay? Here comes a crazy little kid with no manners. Wow, mister, I didn't see you there because I'm running around like a crazy person on too much sugar. Why do you look like that? So, there you have it. Using a cloth face covering does a fine job at creating a simple barrier between us and our neighbor. Of course, this isn't exactly a scientific study, but you get the idea. Quinn, do you get the idea? The more people that wear cloth face coverings in public, the better we protect one another from this pandemic. For more information, go to cdc.gov/coronavirus.
Hey guys, I'm Mason, and guess what happened today? I went with my grandma to the clinic. I thought it was going to be boring, but it was awesome. Her doctor was super nice, and she let me follow her around while my grandma was with the healer. I saw her take care of someone's foot, teach somebody about diabetes, and even give a baby a shot without even making it cry. She knew so much stuff and made everyone feel better. She told me she wanted to be a doctor since she was my age. So she started taking a bunch of math and science classes, and they really helped. She even grew up on my res, just a few blocks away from my house. I guess she went away for college, but came back so she could help our tribe. And that's pretty cool. I love my family and friends, and if I could help them stay healthy someday, just like she does, that sounds pretty good to me. Well, gotta get back to it. Gotta focus. Future doctor over here. See ya.
Are you an Indigenous filmmaker? We've been looking for you. Who are we? We're Good Health TV, an educational health and wellness network made especially for Native American people. We aim to create entertaining and engaging, culturally reflective videos designed to empower our viewers with the knowledge needed to improve their health and the wellness of their communities. If you're interested in learning more or have a project in mind, all you have to do is send an email to content@goodhealthtv.com. Again, that's content@goodhealthtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. Let's talk about HIV prevention. Those of us at high risk for getting HIV through unprotected sex or injecting drugs need to know about PrEP. PrEP is a safe and highly effective medication that can help prevent HIV. When taken consistently, PrEP can reduce a person's risk of getting HIV through sex by 99% and by more than 70% for people who use injection drugs. If you're at risk for HIV, it's time to make prevention a priority. Talk to your healthcare provider to learn whether PrEP is right for you.